welcome to episode number 6 of the Karen Knits podcast. My name is Karen, and I'm coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania, where I live, where I work, where I knit, and where I get into all kinds of other crafty goodness as much as I possibly can. Today is Saturday, October the 20th, 2018, and I'd like to welcome any of my returning viewers. I really appreciate you coming back to see me each week. You can't imagine how much I really appreciate that you come back. And I want to say a special welcome to any new viewers who are just finding my podcast and who've decided to kind of stick around, check me out, give me a try, see what you think. I hope you enjoy, and again, thank you for giving me a check out and see what you think. I hope to see you back in subsequent weeks. So this is a podcast mostly about knitting. I will talk a bit about some yarn. I talk about tea almost every week. Basic structure of the podcast. I'll talk about my tea that I'm drinking first off, usually. I will also spend a little bit of time talking about the works in progress that I have. I'll talk about any finished objects if I get some finished objects, or if I get anything off the needles, I will talk to you about those. But nothing like that's happened recently. So, but I will talk about my works in progress. I will also talk about any stash acquisition that I have. I have a section that I call "Good Grief, Now What Has She Bought?" Because it seems like almost every week I've added something to my collection of stuff. So I welcome you to pull up a chair, pull up your knitting, grab yourself a beverage, whether it's tea, whether it's coffee, whether it's something cold, whatever makes your heart happy. So again, just pull up a chair, pull up your knitting or whatever crafting you're working on, a beverage, and just sit back and enjoy. And we'll spend about half an hour or so together and talk about what I've been up to in the last while. So first off, I want to talk about what I'm drinking. So in my favorite cup right now, until I find myself another cup, this is my go-to. So today I'm drinking, it's a seasonal tea. I've only ever seen it in the stores leading up to Christmas time, and this is tea. The tea that I'm drinking today is stuff that I've saved from last year. I don't know if it's out in the stores already yet this year, or if it's going to be arriving in the stores sometime soon. But anyways, I recommend, if you're a tea drinker, keep an eye out for this if you haven't tried it yet. It's a stash tea, and it's called White Christmas. And it is a white tea. And here's some of the, I don't think you can read any of that with the glare. No, that's too shiny too bright and shiny for you to read. Actually, I can read it to you. Rare white tea, cool peppermint, and a hint of ginger come together to create an uplifting and enticing cup. White tea is delicate in flavor, while peppermint imparts a refreshing flavor note and ginger adds warmth and spice. A touch of honey or sugar enlivens the blend and brings out the distinct flavors. Savor this delightful tea any time of the day. So it is, I don't put sugar or honey or anything in mine. I just drink it as is. Well, there really is quite a glare coming in through here today. But it's a really nice tea. The tea bag, or the little package it's in, again, it's white tea, peppermint, and a little bit of ginger root. And it's really delicious. It has a nice, as the package says, it has a really nice light flavor. It's not very overpowering. It's white tea, it's not as dark as regular tea is, but it's really nice. I really really enjoy it. And once I'm gonna have to keep an eye out in the store and see when it does reappear on the shelves again for the winter season and getting into Christmas. But it is a tea that I love. I've saved some from the tea that I bought last year, and I've kept it so that I maintain a stash of my tea for the year, and I'll savor it. I'll have a little cup here and there throughout the year. So that's what I'm drinking. Next up, I want to talk about my works in progress for a little bit. I did not make any progress on my row cardigan this past week. That poor thing is just, it got neglected this week, so there's no progress there. The second main work in progress that I have on the needles right now and that I'm somewhat actively working on is my Sockhead Slouch Hat. This is a pattern by Kelly McClure, and I'm using my own hand-dyed yarn for this. It's in a gradient, what's the word I'm looking for? It's, oh good grief. It's in a gradient where it goes from a darker blue, and so here's what I have so far. So it goes from a darker blue to medium to a lighter blue, and then it'll eventually go to an even lighter. You can't see the lightest colors. I've rolled it into a ball because the poor little cake was getting completely disheveled from being tossed into a project bag and out again. So the progress I've made since last week hasn't been, I haven't made a whole pile of progress, probably about an inch, maybe an inch. It's not been a lot of progress, but it's a little bit. So I'm happy with a little bit of progress on it. So I'm hoping that before it gets too much cooler around here, I will be able to actually have this bound off and be able to wear it. But for now, it's still a work in progress, but one I'm really enjoying. I'm using 3mm or US 2.5 needles. I cast this on back on the 9th of September this year. So I'm slowly working on it. It's a project I enjoy as my mindless knit. I just work on it when I need to pay attention to something else that's going on, so I can just happily knit around and around in circles. My second work in progress that I've put the most time into working on this project the past week. I'm still behind. I still have a lot more to do. When you look at it, you'll think that's not a lot of progress, but this past week at work has been quite busy, so I haven't really had as much time to knit as I would have liked, but such is life. So the other work in progress that I've been spending a fair bit of time on is my Texture Time Shawl. It's a pattern by Stephen West, and it's his mystery shawl pattern for fall 2018. Before I show, if anyone is even farther behind on this shawl than I am and you want to keep it a surprise, I will give you a warning before I actually show you the shawl or the knitting, so that if you do want this to remain a surprise, you can keep it a surprise. And then I'll put a little timestamp somewhere on here to let you know when it's safe to look back. But I will give you a heads up and warning when I'm going to actually show you what progress I've made. So I'm still working on clue number 1. And to give you a perspective of how far behind I am. Alrighty, so I had some sirens going past, some fire engines going past, so I paused this for a couple moments and I'll try to backtrack to where I was. So I was talking about when the different clues came out for the Texture Time Shawl. Clue number 1 came out in my time zone, Eastern US time zone. It came out on Thursday, October the 4th, early in the evening, about supper time, about 6 o'clock or thereabouts. The second clue came out on Thursday evening, October the 11th, and the third clue came out on Thursday evening, October the 18th. I'm still working on clue number 1. I'm actually finally getting closer to finished, although I still have a fair little bit left to do on it. So I'm hoping by next week I'll actually have some of clue number 2 to show you for those that are curious to see what's going on with this. So the yarn I'm using for this, it uses five different yarns. So there's a main color, there's 3 contrasting colors, and then there's a 4th contrasting color that is, I'm using a mohair blend type of yarn. So the main color and the first 3 contrast colors are yarns that I dyed myself. So I was using Knit Picks Bear Stroll Fingering, and I dyed them into, so my main color is this black charcoal-y kind of color. So this is my main color, so the dark color. And then my contrasting colors are this light pink, light purple, and this light turquoise blue. So these are my first 3 contrasting colors. So these are ones that I dyed myself. And then my final contrasting color is this blue mohair blend. And what it is Knit Picks Aloft in the colorway Celestial. It's 75% Super Kid mohair and 25% silk. It is a lace weight yarn. So what I'm doing with it, because I can't form sentences. So what I was finding was that it was too thin, and it was getting lost in compared to the other parts of the shawl. So what I decided to do was I used a bear fingering yarn, and I'm holding it double with the mohair blend, and I'm finding that brings it up to a nice contrast and a nice what's the word I'm looking for? Words are escaping me this afternoon. Good grief. It's I'm probably going to edit this jumbly mess out here. So for my final contrast color, I'm using the mohair blend held together with the fingering bear yarn by Knit Picks, and I'm finding that brings it up to the same thickness and the very similar comparable weight of yarn as the other contrast colors. So that's working out quite well this way. And I'm really enjoying this knit. I'm finding that I did struggle with it a little bit earlier on. I'm getting the hang of the type of stitches that we're working with right now. So if you have not got this far on the shawl and you actually are even farther behind than I am, or you're starting this late and don't want to have the surprise ruined, now is the time for you to look away for a little while. I will put a timestamp either down here or down here some. I can't even point to that spot on the camera. I'll put it down across the bottom someplace. I'll tell you when it's safe to look back so that you don't ruin the surprise. So here is what it's looking like now. So this is clue number 1. I might regret these 14 million ends, so it seems like, that are hanging out from the sides. The pattern tells us that we'll deal with those later. I'm hoping I don't regret having to weave in 14 million ends. But anyways, here's where we are now. Last week I had only done this portion up into this little pink marker, and from that pink marker onwards is what I've done in the past week. So from that pink marker down by the bottom of the screen upwards here. I'm getting close to the point where this clue is finished. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10. I have one more. 1 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have one more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have one more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have one more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have one more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have one more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have one more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have one more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have one more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have one more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have one more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have one more. 2, 3, 4 I think one more band of the color repeats to go through, so it's only going to be, probably only have another inch or 2 inches left to go. So if you've been looking away, it's safe to mohair. I am mohair fluffs. It's safe to look back now. I'm not showing any spoilers anymore. So if you looked away, if you're working on this and you want to keep it a surprise, it's safe to look back again now. So that was my Texture Time shawl, and that's basically all I have for works in progress this week right now. So the next section I want to look at for a little bit is the good grief, now what has Karen bought section. I did really well until yesterday. I hadn't bought anything, nothing to show you, nothing was bought until yesterday. So my husband and I went out and we had a couple errands to run, so we stopped in at our little local thrift store that's pretty much right behind our apartment building. No luck there, but then we stopped at the Goodwill store, and they had a few things I was interested in there. So I broke down. I bought a little bit, not an awful lot, but I did buy a few things. So the first thing I found, so I ended up with 4 skeins of yarn, so it wasn't too bad. The first thing I bought was this little skein or little ball of the mini Moochie, I think that's what it's called. It's 80% merino wool, 20% nylon. It's in the colorway 108. Nice fancy name for it. But if you can see on there, 99 cents. How can you resist 99 cents? So it's a 50-gram skein of yarn. How many yards on here? 50 grams. It's hidden. There we go. 195 yards or 50 grams. So I had one of these skeins of yarn I had bought somewhere else quite a few years ago, and I'm gonna have to double check through my stash and see if it's still in there, and now if I have enough to make actually a pair of socks, or if I used it paired up with something else and made something out of it already. I really do have to double check in my stash and see where I'm at with that. The other my nose is itchy. I've got mohair fluff on my face now. The other yarn that they had there, they had a bunch of other yarns that I wasn't interested in. They had some acrylics, they had some fluffy stuff that I didn't have any interest in. But the other stuff that they did have was this, the Barocco soft twist. So this is, just double checking my notes, 50 grams each, 100 yards. It's 41% wool, 59% rayon. It was 99 cents. So here's the information on it. Hopefully that focused so you can actually see it. But it's, one skein is this pretty green color. It's a colorway 9437. And I also they also had 2 skeins in purple. This is a really pretty purple, actually. I really like this. So again, there was 99 cents each. So the Barocco soft twist. It's a wool nylon, or sorry, wool rayon. Did I say nylon the first time? I might have. So there's 2 of these skeins, and I'm thinking I might want to make something with the 3 of them together. Maybe do something that's striped, or use the green as an accent color. What do you guys think? What do you have suggestions for patterns that I might be able to use with this? I'm thinking maybe a hat, maybe mittens. I'm not sure if they would work very well for mittens because of it's kind of it feels fairly slippery. I'm not sure if color work would would work very well with these because the yarn is kind of, I want to say it feels shiny. I don't think things feel shiny, but it is a little bit of a slippery feel to it, where the rayon count is almost 60%. So it is kind of like a shiny, slippery kind of fabric or fiber. So if you have some suggestions for what I can make with this, I'd love it if you can drop some pattern suggestions into the comment section below, because that'd be really helpful to think about what I could use these for. But for 99 cents each, you know me, I couldn't resist, so I had to bring them home with me. So what else was I going to talk to you about today? Oh, that's what else. I've been on a little bit of a hiatus when it comes to designing different patterns. And I had a pattern that I designed, a sock pattern that I designed well over a year ago. I posted it on Ravelry. I had some people testing it. I had a few minor edits that needed to be done on it. And then life got busy. I put it aside and I honestly basically forgot about it and didn't really do anything with it. So I was mulling through some of my former projects and I was thinking, well, you know, I really do need to get that done, finish up the editing and get it out and get it published. So later on this afternoon, once I'm going to get the editing done on this today, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up the editing on the sock design, and I'll get it released and posted for sale a little bit later this afternoon. So I'd love it if you would check it out, see what you think of it. It's again, it's a sock design. It's called, I'm calling it Staggered Tracks, and it's a pattern that'll be, I think, really good for a unisex pattern, something that would be very appropriate for men or women. I know so many sock patterns are quite feminine, so this is one that I think will be really fantastic for men as well. So here's what it looks like. I was going to hold it up a little bit close so you can kind of get a look at what the pattern looks like. So it is a top-down sock design. So start at the cuff. It's a 1x1 ribbing. Then it goes down into the design pattern. It has a heel flap and gusset design on it. That tends to be the style of sock I prefer making. And then it just comes down and the pattern continues down onto the toe. So I think it's a really nice straightforward design. It has a nice masculine appeal to it, I think. I think it'd be something that'd be very suitable for men or women. So I'm finally getting this out, getting it published. It's been sitting dormant for way too long. I should have had this out and published probably at least a year ago. But anyway, so I have been on, like I said, I've been on a major hiatus when it comes to designing. So that's going to be Staggered Socks. You can find it on Ravelry under Karen Burr Designs. It will be up, I'll have it posted up later on today, so that if you're interested, I'd love it if you go and take a look at it. Probably the only, and so like I say, thank you. It'd be fantastic if you take a peek at it and see what you think of it. What else did I want to talk about? Work this week has been quite busy, so I haven't had as much time for crafting as I would have liked. I've already been at work for a while this morning on Saturday. They had an open house at the university, so a lot of the juniors and seniors from the area high schools were invited to campus. So we had a whole bunch of tables set up for all the different departments. So I was there representing myself, and one of our other faculty members were there representing our department. So we had a handful of kids. I call them kids. They look so young. Oh my goodness. So we had a handful that came by our table to check out our department. So hopefully we'll pick up a few more students into our program. Our program at the university is very new. We're only in our third year as a degree program at our university. So it's kind of exciting to be involved with the program as it's just starting. As it's just a baby, and we're growing it and working with the program. So I had that this morning, so I was up early, off to work, back home again, and it's only 11:30 in the morning when I'm getting this all done, so I've had a full morning already. What else did I want to tell you about? Oh, Vlogtober is going really well. I'm maybe not doing things quite as most people do for Vlogtober. I'm not as much following my different activities during the day. So a lot of times I get up in the morning, drink my tea, do some knitting, watch podcasts, things like that. I go to work. I don't film things at work, so or I rarely will film or post things from my work. So and then I come home and veg out for the evening. So there's not really a lot of activities I'm doing during the day, so or that I want to videotape and share. So a lot of what I have been doing so far this month in Vlogtober is just showing a lot of different fun things that I enjoy, that I'd like to share with you, but that don't quite really fit within my, like within a knitting podcast. So I'm showing off some of my other crafty things, some of my art stuff, some of my other crafting interests, as well as just a few little things that I'm doing around the house. So I'm really having a lot of fun with Vlogtober. I've got 20, I can't believe I've posted 20 of those already. And we're basically 2/3 away, I trip over my tongue talking here. We're about 2/3 of the way through the month. So I'm amazed with myself that I've kept up with it for the whole, for this long already. So I suspect I will be able to finish off the month. I'll post for the next 11 days. I'll get some more Vlogtober posts done up in the next little while and get those posted day by day. And what else? I think that's about it. I'll go get this edited now, get back to doing some more knitting on my Texture Time Shawl. Hopefully I'm really hoping, I'd love to get clue number 1 finished. Good grief, I'd like to have that done before clue 4 comes out. There's no way I'm going to get this done before October is done. I probably won't even finish clue number 2 before October is finished. But anyway, I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying it. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasurable knit now that I've got into the rhythm of the pattern and the stitches. So I think that's about all for this week. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Like I said, I'm going to go get this edited. I'll go and get the last little tweaks and editing done on the Staggered tracks pattern, and I'll get that posted and up for sale on Ravelry later on this afternoon. And I look forward to seeing you guys again next week. So if you haven't yet, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel. It helps to get a little bit more attention to the channel, helps to raise any awareness that my itty bitty little podcast actually exists here amongst all the others. But I would love it if you would like and subscribe. That'd be fantastic. And I think that's about it. I should get going. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the day Saturday. Hope you have a fantastic rest of the weekend and a fantastic week coming up. And I look forward to seeing you guys next weekend. Catch you later. Bye, everyone.